Welcome to a short preview of this ScreenCastsOnline video tutorial. Now, whilst Apple Notes has come on leaps and bounds since its initial release, one of its main shortcomings is the lack of OCR, or Optical Character Recognition, for scanned documents. In this video, I'm going to revisit an iOS application that Richard Baker touched on in his Microsoft OneNote tutorials, and that's Office Lens. Now, Office Lens is an iOS app that allows you to scan documents, business cards and whiteboards and import them into a number of applications, making them searchable documents. Now, across on my iPhone, I'm going to use the iPhone 8 Plus for this demonstration. You can use it on the iPad as well. If I go into the App Store, if you do a quick search for Office Lens, it's a free application. So I've downloaded and installed. I also have an Office 365 subscription, so I've logged into my Office account as well, because I'm actually going to use OneNote as a demonstration as well. Now, you can learn more about OneNote by taking a look at Richard's tutorials. I'm going to very briefly just touch on some of its capabilities. So if I tap open to go into Office Lens, now I've got my phone down on the desk at the moment, so you can't see anything on the camera, but you'll see at the top there are three buttons. I can go to My Files, Send Feedback, and go into Settings. So this is where I've already logged in to my Microsoft account. We'll say Done. Now down at the bottom we can select a whiteboard, a document, a business card, or just take a photo. I'm going to go ahead and just take a document scan. So if I just lift this off my desk, and you'll see it picks up the edges of the document. So once we're happy with that, we just tap the button at the bottom, and then we get this display here. Now, I can at this point, if I want to, go in and change the crop. So if I tap on this crop symbol, but that is fine. I could drag any of these edges out, but it's fine. I'll just say done to that. I can also rotate the image at this point. I can change its format to document, whiteboard, business card, or photo. We'll leave it as document because we want to OCR this. And I can also annotate the document in any of these colors, but we'll just leave it as is. That's just a quick preview of one of this week's Apple-related tutorials from ScreenCastsOnline. ScreenCastsOnline is your premium source of Apple-related video tutorials. All of our members get access to brand new, up-to-date tutorials each week, as well as unlimited access to our entire video archive full of Mac and iOS-related tutorials. You can stream and download all of our videos on your Mac, iPad and iPhone, and even your Apple TV using the members-only ScreenCastsOnline Apple TV app. Membership also includes a complimentary subscription to the digital ScreenCastsOnline monthly magazine, published each month and packed with videos, articles, reviews, as well as hints and tips covering all aspects of the Mac, iPad, iPhone, and all of the other fantastic Apple products. So, if you're ready to start getting the most out of your Apple devices, visit ScreenCastsOnline.com today and become a ScreenCastsOnline member.